So today we're making a cod and bean dish thing. Pan-fried cod with some spicy beans. Yes, I remember what I'm cooking. So we've got some cod, beans, tomato puree, some chili oil, which I made the night before, some, when I turn it round, some white rice vinegar, paprika, chili powder, tomatoes, and various herbs and spices. So we begin by boiling the beans in salt water. These were left to soak out the night beforehand to just, let them tenderize a bit. Just while we're watching this, the chili oil was made just with some sesame oil and some crushed chilies. So just to make it chili, you can replace that with your own favourite chili oil or whatever you like. So once these have boiled for 40 minutes, you then just give them a quick stir and drain them off, which I didn't take in, but as you can see they're now nicely drained, to which we add a tin of chopped tomatoes. You could use fresh tomatoes or passata, but I quite like tinned tomatoes. It gives a nice extra texture and a bit of chunky to this. Also to this, just give it a quick stir and then add half a can of water. By half a can, I mean literally half of the can the tomatoes came in. That way you get any extra flavour that was left in the tomatoes then into the sauce. Yeah, sauce. Yeah, I guess that's the technical term. So you just add that in like so. It means it boils it rather than it sort of burning to the bottom of the pan, which is not what you want. Add some salt, because everything needs salt. Maybe not my veins, but most things need salt. And then we add some dark soy sauce. It's just for the flavour and even more salt. I'm starting to see a recurring theme here. Some chili powder for a little bit of heat to it, and some paprika for just nice, earthy flavour. Some nice tomato puree. Tomato, some honey for a little bit of a sweetness to that. Just round it off a bit, and then we get some white rice vinegar. I'm going to keep calling it rice wine vinegar because I don't know how to read. So then we add some balsamic vinegar, because vinegar is good. I'm going to end up looking like a pickle. Some oyster sauce, which is a bit of Asian vibe in there. Very slightly fishy, not quite as fishy as fish sauce. Some coarse ground black pepper. I don't know what's up with my ability to speak, but apparently it's not very good. Then we've got some chopped garlic in white wine vinegar, not to confuse me anymore, and some whole grain mustard. Just a little bit of acidity, a little bit of tang, mustard and garlic. Good in all sauce. Now these are Szechuan chili peppers, which I found in my local Asian supermarket, and as far as I can tell don't seem to actually exist, because Szechuan peppers are peppercorns, pink little peppercorns, and Chinese chili peppers are long and thin when dried, and these seem to be neither, so they taste good. Add some Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of cinnamon, because it's a Chinese, slightly oriental, and a little bit of mixed herbs, just to give it a little bit of a herby time. Oh, and I've got just a whole bunch of sesame for a bit of texture. Then you stir this around and mix this up. Don't worry about breaking down the chili, because we don't want that broken down. That'll be picked out later, a bit like if you try and pick out a bay leaf. The most important step, always taste and adjust accordingly. In this case, I thought it wasn't quite sweet enough. It was a bit bitter, so I added a bit more honey to it and stirred it. This is a key thing as you're going along. This is after about an hour. I want to cook this quite low and slow for several times, but always keep tasting, because the flavours develop over time, and you might go, ooh, that tastes a bit more, bit not quite what I want. It needs more tomato, it needs some more spice to it. So now we get out the cod fillet, and we just season this with some nice pink sea salt and some Himalayan salt. It's not bred near the sea, and some rainbow peppercorns, because I like rainbow peppercorns. They have a nice, more varied flavour than just pure black peppercorns. So we add that, plus our aforementioned chili oil, which was actually made out of the same weird Szechuan peppers. They're really, really spicy if you get the seeds in there, but they've got a really, really nice flavour to them. So we add them all together, we stir it up, and just drizzle this over the top with a spoon. Don't worry about being neat, because we're going to rub it in a second. just to this adds some nice spiciness to it. This is quite an oily dish, so if you want to make it less oily, just don't use oil in the pan. I did use oil in the pan because I quite like oil on my fish. Makes it taste a bit better, and it allows the skin to crisp up that just a little bit more. So then we flip it over, same deal, salt, pepper, oil. That was far too long of a pause. I don't know what's up with me today. So then we, just over the top of it, just a nice bit of the oil, a bit more on the skin, because you want the skin to really nicely crisp up. Okay, I forgot to do the salt first. I remember what I did an hour ago. So yeah, we just put over the top just some nice chili oil. This is going to give it such a nice, really nice flavour. It's what really makes the fish sing, in my opinion. I'm not much of a big fish fan, actually, but this is actually palatable and fish I really, really like to eat. So that's as good a resounding resignation. That's not the word I'm looking for. I'll give up on that sentence. So now we go over the frying pan. We put this on a medium-high heat. So my heat is electric and has numbers. So this is a number 5 of 6. So not quite full whack, but not, not at all. The beans are slowly stewing on a number 1, I think. So we then add the fish. You want a nice sizzle. When you put it in, you need to make sure there's that nice sizzle. You can just see it there. You can see the bubbling around the edge. That's how you know it's ready to go into the pan. You don't want it to be just boiling in the oil. Baste it with the hot oil just to increase that flavour on top, because it is cooking also into chili oil and a little bit of olive oil. Just put that on the top. Just cook the top a little bit. We are going to flip it over, but get some of that nice flavour in there and make sure it doesn't burn, because the worst thing would be burn. While this is going on, there is a in the oven, preheating about 200 degrees in a normal oven, non-fan. There's a baking sheet with a little bit of olive oil on it that I just rubbed onto it. We're going to put it on that once we finish with the frying stage, so make sure that's in and nicely preheated. So we're just going to, there we go, and nicely flip it over. As you can see, the skin's gone nice and crisp. It's all cooked, and you can see the nice smattering of chili over it. So we then, out of the hot oven, you can't see it because I forgot to include it in the video. It's going to pop in now. Yep, no, my timing's a bit off. But there we go. There's the nice pan that we put into there. Now we're deglazing the pan with just a little bit of white. I'll learn how to pronounce that one day. White rice vinegar. I would not recommend this because you essentially get blasted with essentially boiling vinegar steam, which smells god awful. It smells like you've just drank a litre of vinegar. But I wanted some extra tang into my sauce, so just this way, all of that wonderful flavour you've got off the fish and the chili oil is going into those beans. Give them a quick stir around. Just stir every now and then to make sure the flavours are incorporated. After that, this is how your fish will look. It looks absolutely delicious, and I can confirm it was absolutely delicious. It tasted really, really nice. And now you get to plating it up and get your favourite plate. In my case, I have got a purple one because I quite like my purple plates. Also, it was the one that was on top of the stack. And just lay out a nice section of the beans. And just on top of that, add your fish. And look at that, doesn't that look absolutely delicious? I hope so, because it was absolutely delicious. I'm dying slightly. Just add a nice grind of salt and pepper onto the end, just to finish it off. A nice smattering of presentation, make it look a bit starry, and I'm sure you'll be very impressed with this wonderful tasting dish.